Hello viewers, I'm Kausalya. Today we are going to solve the problems related with duality networks. So here the problem is, for the network shown in figure, draw its dual, right? So here this is your given network. So this network has two loops, right? And the respective currents are I1 and I2. So here the main thing in duality is, you should observe how many loops are there, right? So depending upon the number of loops, we will be having our own dots, right? We have to place our dots, and apart from that there is a reference dot. So here there are two loops. So here we will be having two dots, and there will be another extra one dot that is known as reference dot, right? So here I had drawn the same diagram with the dots here, right? So when you look at this diagram, you see we are having two loops, right? Therefore, two dots, 1 and 2. And apart from that, there is a reference dot 0, right? So here the basic step is, you have to connect all the dots via some elements, right? So here you see dot 1 and dot 2. Okay, they are connected by this 7 ohm resistor. Similarly, dot 2 is connected to dot 0 by this 4 ohm as well as through this 10 volt, right? Similarly, again this dot 1 is connected to our reference dot through this 2 ohm as well as through this 5 volt source, right? So here you have to connect each and every element to this reference dot, right? So that is our key thing. Then the next step is here. Now we are going to draw the dual for this given network. So the thing is, you see, here the current direction is, it is like this, right? And similarly here the voltage source is, that is, it is connected as minus plus. So again, that is, the current flowing through this voltage source is again like this, as well as the current produced by this voltage source will also flow in the same direction, right? Because it is minus to plus, so it will flow upwards, and the current flowing through this loop is also in the same direction, right? Can you get what I'm saying? Now, based upon this, now we are going to draw the dual network. So the first step is, you just keep the dots 1, 2 and this reference dot, right? So here you see I have keep the dots 1, 2 and there is a reference dot, right? Now, when you look at this diagram, you see between 1 and 2, we are having a resistance of 7 ohms. But when you draw its dual network, you have to take the reciprocal only for the resistors, right? So this 7 becomes 1 by 7 here. And again, between 1 and this 0, right, we are having 2 ohm. So between 1 and this 0, we are having 2, so which is represented as 1 by 2. Again, between your dot 2 and 0, we are having a 4 ohm. So here it is represented as 1 by 4 ohm, which is connected between dot 2 and dot 0, right? Now, when you look at this voltage source, you see, just now I have said, right, that is, the current is flowing in this way, right? That is from minus to plus, and again this loop current is also, it also flows from minus to plus. So both the directions are same. So here this voltage source, we are replacing it by a current source with the arrowhead upwards, right? Why the arrowhead is upwards? Because our general consideration is current always flows from minus to plus, so it flows in upward direction. And again the current flowing through this loop also flows from minus to plus. So both the directions are same. So here I had drawn an upward current flow, right? This 5 amps flows upward. This 5 voltage is replaced by 5 amps here, right? Now when you look at this voltage source, you see here minus to plus, right? Therefore, the current will flow like this upwards. But what happened to the loop current? You see, it flows downwards, that is from plus to minus, right? So, the current directions are opposite to each other. Therefore, here this 10 volt becomes 10 amps current source with the downward direction. the downward, having a downward arrow mark, right? So finally, this is our dual network for the given circuit, right? Now we will proceed with our next problem. Draw the dual network for the given network, right? So here, this is your given circuit diagram. Again, how many loops are there? Here we are having 2 loops, right? If the current direction is not given, you don't need to consider, okay? So here again, how many dots we have to place? We have to place 2 dots because here we are having 2 loops. Then apart from that, there is a reference dot, right? Totally 3 dots we have to place. So the first thing is, we will place the dots and we will connect each and every dot via the elements present in between, right? So here you see we are connecting 1 and 2 through this 3 ohm, and 2 and 0 by this 6 ohm, and 2 and 0 by this capacitor, and similarly between this 1 and 0 by this voltage source, and 1 and 0 by this 10 Henry, right? So the first step is you have to place the dots and you have to connect one dot to the other dot by some elements or some sources. Now the next thing is, here the thing is, you see in the previous problem we are having only resistors, but here we are having inductors and capacitors also. So the thing is, the inductor will be replaced by a capacitor and a capacitor will be replaced by an inductor in the dual network, right? So here again, first keep the dots 1, 2 and 0. So here you just keep the dots, right? 1, 2 and there is a reference dot, okay, 0. So as usual, between 1 and 2 there is a 3 ohm resistor. So while representing in dual network between 1 and 2, it should be, its value is 1 by 3 ohms, right? And again, between 1 and 0, you see it is connected by this 10 Henry. So here we have to replace it between 1 and 0, it is 10 Farad. And again between 2 and 0 we are having a 6 ohm, right? So that 6 ohm is, you see between 2 and 0, that 6 ohm is represented as 1 by 6 ohm, right? And the thing is, again between this 2 and 0 we are having a 5 Farad. So this is replaced by 5 Henry inductor, right? So between 2 and 0 we are representing a 5 Henry inductor. And again here this voltage source 20 volt becomes 20 amps, and again it is minus to plus, right? Therefore we are representing it by an upward arrow mark. So here the current source flows from minus to plus, therefore upward arrow mark, right? And finally here this is our reference, okay, or ground part, whatever thing we can say it as, say it in both ways, right? So here this is the final dual network for the given circuit diagram. So in order to have a cross check, just count the elements which are present in the given network. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So here you have to have 5 elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? Just to have a cross check. So finally this is the dual network for the given problem. So that's all. If you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Thank you.